Hey guys, this is Aaron. A couple weeks ago, we took a look at making curtains or drapes inside of SketchUp using only native tools. We made something that was not too bad looking. It was okay. It wasn't the best thing in the world though, and that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make the best thing in the world. I might be overselling a little bit, but we're gonna take a look at using a couple of extensions to make curtains or drapes. So without further ado, let's hop right back in. So this is the same model we had last time. Just for fun, I'll go ahead and take one of these drapes out and we'll replace it with something we create with a couple of extensions. The extensions we're going to look at are Fredo 6's Curve-A-Loft and TomTom's Vertex tools. So I'm going to come over here on the side and I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to put an arc onto the end of that rectangle, another half circle. So similar shape to what I made before. I'm going to take that shape then, and I'm going to use rotate to go from the midpoint of this line, option rotate to swing it around like that. And I am making a much bigger, exaggerated arc here than I was last time. That is intentional. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to say option, copy that over, maybe 3 times, something like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now I don't need these lines. What I'm looking for is this zigzaggy pattern like that. Awesome. Now I'm going to triple click. That's going to select all connected geometry. And I'm going to option or control, modifier key, to move and with a copy. And I'm going to move it vertically, hit the up arrow key. I'm going to take that straight up. Now, what Curve-A-Loft is going to do is take one set of lines and connect it using flowing geometry to the other set of lines. If I use Curve-A-Loft right now, it's going to look just like my push-pull. It's just going to drop it straight down. So what I want to do is I want to actually go from a modified profile to this one. So this is what the bottom of my curtains are going to look like. And the top of my curtains is going to be a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shape right now, and I'm going to modifier key move to move it over and give me a little bit longer set of geometry. So my lines are bigger here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use scale and drag this back to where this endpoint is right here. So that's going to give me more curves here than I have at the bottom. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it back this way. Maybe something like that. So what that's going to do is it's going to cause some ruffles in here. So it's going to have to billow out a little bit to get to this wider footprint, but it's also going to have some zigzagging back and forth of geometry. It's not going to be able to just drop straight down. So having said all that, let's go ahead and select the geometry and hit Curve-A-Loft. Okay, so the function I'm using is loft by spline, and that's where it goes through and it makes geometry out of these multiple selected lines. I have some options here as far as how I want these pieces to get generated. I can come through and I can click through some of these. There are names on each of these, and honestly, I've really tried hard to try to figure out what they do, but this is some heavy geometry stuff. I use computers because I want the computer to figure out geometry for me. I don't want to have to know how to do this stuff. So generally speaking, when I use this command, I end up just kind of clicking through the different options and picking the one I like best. These ones over here end up kind of straight, but I like these ones right here because they give me a little bit of a billow. You can see it kind of have some arc there. So I'm going to say that's the one I want, and I'm just going to click out an open space, which means go ahead and make that geometry. You will notice that I'm building at a bigger scale than I actually am. That's because Curve-A-Loft is going to be asked to create some small geometry. In order to give it the best shot of creating accurate geometry, I'm dealing with this in a little bit bigger space than I normally would. A little bit larger. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to make one change. I'm going to select in here. I'm going to, you see that did, should point that out, it did make that in a separate group. So it left my original lines the way they were. If I click into this group, I can select it's all one surface. I'm just going to reverse faces so I have the front facing towards me. All right, that looks pretty good. I got a good kind of flowy pattern, but I want to mess with that even more. So I'm going to come in here, and this is where Vertex Tools comes into play. I'm going to go ahead and click on Vertex Tools. What that's going to do is in the hidden geometry, so if I go to hidden geometry right now, you'll see I have a bunch of like triangles here making all this up. They end at regular increments. That's what Curve-A-Loft did. And what Vertex Tools will do is allow me to select any of those points. I'm going to go turn. There's too many lines for my brain. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select a chunk of geometry, just kind of arbitrarily, maybe like this big a chunk. And what that's going to do is it selects that geometry, and then based on my soft select radius, which is an enormous 41 feet, let's take that down to like maybe say 12 feet, something like that. And let's go even smaller, about 10 feet. It's going to change the colors. The red ones are going to move absolutely. So as much as I move my mouse, that's how much those red numbers or those red dots move. The rest of them taper off to the dark blue, which don't move at all. So this is the awesome magic that is vertex tools. So there's other ways to move geometry around, but this soft select is really the reason that I like to use it for modifying organic shapes like this. So you can see you can kind of just grab it and move some stuff around. I don't have to move just that one direction either. I could take this right here and maybe scale it back in together, make it a little bit smaller on the bottom. But this is kind of no holds barred, mess with stuff however you like kind of modeling at this point. And basically the idea here is I can just move this geometry around and make my nice flowing shapes. It looks like I pulled out a little bit too far. Maybe I'll have it come back out at the bottom, kick back over. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. So it kind of gives you an idea. That's the kind of thing I can do with Curve-A-Loft and Vertex tools. So just to do a little side by side now that we're done, I'm going to take this, I'm going to scale it back down, drop that back down to about the right same size, and we'll take that, move it back in here, and I can jump in and might have to do some little cleanup like I did before. I do a little scaling and bring it back. That actually looks pretty cool. Take that up onto the bar, scale a little bit more. Slide that back this way. Yeah, that's pretty good. So you can kind of see, and really it all depends what you're going for. You could spend a little more time making this maybe follow some shapes, but you can kind of get an idea of the different options here we have with our standard tools, and then what we were able to do with just a couple of extensions. So hopefully that gets you thinking. Again, not the only thing those two tools do is make drapes or curtains, but it's something you could do with those extensions. So hopefully that helps. If you've got a different way that you make that kind of geometry, I'd love to hear about it. So let me know down below. If you got another idea for a video like this, let me know that too. While you're down there, go ahead and subscribe or like so we can tell you when new videos like this come out. We like making videos like this, but we like them a lot more when they're showing something you want to see. Thank you.